man, Woody likes the crooked cock.
He might be pudgy and skinny and a downgrade from where he is now.
Yeah,
he was a good-looking guy in the 90s.
He's self-admittedly on TRT, HGH, and thyroid. So it obviously significantly plays a role in him maintaining his muscle today.
I think he's the best him he can be. I think he's the best him he can be. And I think it's a good look. And I think those pictures were like he even said, he's like, I'd gotten heavy right there. And then he went on like that carnivore diet and he lost like 19 pounds in a month or something like that. And I don't think he looks like that on the daily.
No, yeah. I think he has autoimmune issues too with some of the food he was eating. And I think that's what largely influenced the gut distension.
Inflammation.
Yeah, so like when you have a garbage cheat meal, I'm sure you've noticed your stomach, even though you're not any fatter 10 seconds or like 20 minutes after eating a meal than you were, 20 minutes before the meal. But now all of a sudden your stomach is like out to fucking here, whereas prior it was, flat. So I think a lot of it had to do with just his food choices too. And I've been considering doing like a follow-up video on that because some of it I feel like I might have highlighted a bit too in favor of the growth hormone rather than highlighting the diet portion itself. But
what is it? Did he? I'm not familiar. Did he say like a special diet he was eating prior to that? Or
no, I was just having tons of carbs and not being like tight on his regimen and whatnot. And then after, when you go carnivore, you're having no carbs at all. So you instantly drop all that water that glycogen holds or all the carbs hold in the muscle. So you instantly lose like 8 pounds of water weight. So obviously that is like in itself going to be pretty significant in your body composition. And then on top of that, you're having the most autoimmune friendly version of food you could have, basically. Like pretty much anyone who does really well on this carnivore diet seems to be somebody who reacts heavily to something like, I don't know, dairy or, gluten or whatever. And then they do this thing and all of a sudden they have no bloating issues anymore. And no, their eczema clears up. I think he even said he had a vitiligo or something and it started to get better once he did the carnivore. So obviously he had some sort of existing autoimmune issues that were getting exacerbated by his diet prior.
That can't possibly be a good diet to be on, right? Like I trust but like, just eating nothing but meat. Like, what do you take? Like 1 a day vitamins to try and get some nutrients? Like, what do you? There's no way eating chicken every day could be okay.
If you do it the way some of the people do it in this like space that sort of make it a fad, then you're going to end up micronutrient deficient down the line. Like if you just have a steak, like every meal just steak. But if you do like, you have like the bone broth and you have all like the actual gelatinous parts of the animal, then you can get a lot of the micronutrients that you'd otherwise be missing. And I'm not going to say, you can do it long term because it's not like there's really any data to support it. But, it's certainly interesting. And a lot of people seem to do well on it. And I think if you're going to do it, the healthier way to do it is it's basically called like nose to tail carnivore. So you eat like everything rather than just like muscle tissue, which is what most people do. So yeah, if you have like, you'll know, I think I forget what exactly it was. It was like, it's like certain animals, when they kill another animal, they'll go right for like the liver, for example, rather than eating the muscle meat because it's super micronutrient dense. And everyone thinks, I just gotta have a big steak. And it's like, yeah, you get a lot of B vitamins and shit, but you're missing a lot of the stuff that you would otherwise get, like the vitamin A and stuff from the liver. So that's why there's all this, there's like a push for some of the carnivore people to get more to like a healthy version of carnivore. And then there's like the Michaela Peterson and Sean Baker and shit who basically just eat steaks all day.
All right. So you did 2 videos. I watched them both, but I didn't quite keep up. You took the discipline of a bodybuilding scientist and applied that to pressing the tongue to the top of your mouth for a year?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
What are we doing here? What was the goal?
So basically, the idea, and you might relate because you have sleep apnea, is if you, this isn't any firm science. This is sort of just like me doing it because it was no additional time out of my day to do it. But there was this guy named Mike Mew, and he started a channel called Orthotropics, and he's originally an orthodontist who basically had like a, I don't know, like a renegade perspective on fucking teeth and shit. And it was basically how how.
Don't tell me to listen to the establishment. I'm big orthodontist. I'm not
Yeah, so
You don't need braces,
like,
just push with your tongue.
yeah, so they.
It's all coming from Big Rubber Band. In the top. Yeah.
Apparently, he had his license revoked or something because he was like going against like the Orthodontic Society or something. I don't know. Anyway, basically, his idea is that like malocclusion of your mouth, like, you know, your teeth crowding, like overlapping and having all those issues you would get fixed with braces as a kid, they're caused by your tongue and being not on the roof of your mouth and mouth breathing. So basically, if you have your tongue on the roof of your mouth, then the teeth can't crowd because your tongue is basically preventing them from crowding. You know what I mean? So
I'm the poster boy for this. Yeah, I had terrible malocclusion or whatever it was because
Yeah.
my tongue doesn't reach up all the way to my mouth because I'm tongue-tied. My dentist told me that a little more
Your
recently.
tongue doesn't reach the roof of your mouth?
Well, what they say to do is like open your mouth as wide as you can right now, Kyle. As wide as you can. Now, well, point your mouth towards the camera, and then this isn't a fucking trick or something. So point your mouth towards the camera and try and make your tongue touch the roof of your mouth.
Yeah.
I like, okay, it doesn't even get close. Okay.
Wow, I can easily do
touch
that.
the roof. It's because that like fucking tendon thing is way too tight, and I've been going to the same fucking dentist since I was 6, and it was the last appointment I went to where he goes, "Wow, you're really tongue tied," and I wanted to be like. First time in my mouth, asshole? No, you've been in here hundreds of times at this point, or dozens at least. And yeah, so that's exactly right. He was telling me that because my tongue wasn't situated right and it doesn't ever rest, or it would like intermittently rest on the roof of my mouth and then back down, that it just fucked up all my teeth and the way they grew because I never had that overlap the way teeth are supposed to when you bite. I always just clash right on top of each other. And that's why all my teeth
Like a
are fake
ventriloquist
now.
stomach.
So there you go.
Just
Like a ventriloquist stomach.
right on top of one another.
I got all these fence posts put in.
So the theory behind it is that if you let that happen, you basically not only end up in a position where your teeth get fucked up, but your face, the way your face grows as a kid is also going to be much uglier than you would otherwise look. So there's like, have you ever heard of...
I mean, some people look horrific.
Some of these people look like absolute monsters. These people look like absolute ghouls, monsters. Their jaws, it's this steam shovel jaw down there, just bigger than the top of their head. It's so big.
So this guy,
that's hilarious. I'm like, this is something I had pretty bad, and Derek's like, you know, a lot of people who have that look retarded.
Oh yeah, glad it missed me there.
That's good. That's good. Sorry,
sidestep that one.
Yeah,
right, guys.
So when you're a kid.